what you're seeing on your screen there is a view of that very small dot in the middle of the screen. That is a view from Dragon looking at the International Space Station.
So tally-ho from Dragon. We will start seeing that get bigger and bigger in the frame.
And Dragon, SpaceX on Dragon to ground, we'd also like to bring back cameras if you're comfortable with that.
You are go to bring back cameras, SpaceX, thanks.
And the core today is Shiva Bharavaj, and you've probably seen him on some of the webcasts before. So he is the one speaking with the crew members today. You'll hear that a little bit, getting that confirmation to bring cameras back inside the spacecraft. So hopefully we'll be seeing our astronauts and cosmonaut coming up here soon. And back inside the Dragon capsule, we have everyone in their suits and seats. Looks like they are fully suiting up now, putting those gloves on, as well as we have a view of those crew access panels, those displays in front of them, pilot and the commander there in the center.
Much like a ship has starboard and port to that green and red light to see the orientation, Dragon and these spacecraft also have that same green and red light so that you can tell what the orientation of the vehicle is in.
And Dragon, SpaceX on the big loop, we had a nominal mid-course correction and the trajectory has converged on waypoint 0. Expect waypoint 0 arrival at 1217 Zulu.
SpaceX Dragon copies all and copy 1217.
Dragon, SpaceX on the big loop, ground has pulled go for approach 0 and 1 and will enable the maneuver shortly.
SpaceX Dragon copies go for approach 0 and 1.
And we did see views of the International Space Station before, which looked like a tiny little dot, and now we are getting so close that you can really see the International Space Station there, and that's on your left-hand screen. And looking from the International Space Station to Dragon on your right-hand screen, getting a really cool view of Dragon.
And you see that glow. That is the spacecraft are both going into an orbital daytime. So we've talked about how the at orbital velocity, you're orbiting the Earth 17,500 miles per hour. You see a sunrise or a sunset every 45 minutes. So they're going into that sunrise period. That's why you saw that glow, that blooming on the camera. They will be there again for about 45 minutes. It does look like we may dock just as we get into an orbital nighttime. And right now on the International Space Station, we have 7 crew members. So we are going to have 11 people living and working on the orbiting laboratory for the next several days. We'll start looking at an undocking timeline and a splashdown date for Crew 6 pretty soon. But we want to make sure they get that handover time. So right now, again, 7 people living on the space station. Right now, it looks like 4 of them are having their midday meal. So on the space station, they use Greenwich Mean Time. It's just a little bit after noon there, about 12:10 p.m. A few of them are eating. Again, this is a weekend day, so technically, sometimes if there's not operations going on, they do get time off on the weekends. They're able to relax, talk to family members. Right now, several of them are eating, and then Woody Hoberg will step into the Dragon approach monitoring. He will also work on pressurizing the vestibule once we are docked.
And on your screen is a pretty cool view from the International Space Station looking at Dragon. You could see the nose cone deployed, and you can also see some of the thrusters. They're using the Draco thrusters to maneuver Dragon towards the International Space Station. You can see Earth in the background.
Yeah, right now they are flying over Saskatchewan.
Dragon, SpaceX on the big loop. Approach 0 has started and the trajectory has converged on waypoint 1. Expect arrival at waypoint 1 around 1259 UTC.
SpaceX Dragon copies on the big loop, arrival at waypoint 1 at 1259.
And these views are really awesome. Seeing Earth in the background, looking almost so crisp there.
I know. And Crew 7, once they arrive at the International Space Station, they will have these beautiful views for about 6 months, living and working, doing science and research on the International Space Station. We did get an updated docking time. It has shifted just a few minutes to the right. We're now tracking 9:08 a.m. Eastern Time. Literally just a 3-minute change, so just fine-tuning after we've done the approach initiation burn and that mid-course maneuver. Again, we've passed through waypoint 0, moving up toward waypoint 1. Things continue to look good so far for Dragon Endurance on its journey to the International Space Station. This is another view from the International Space Station. You can see one of the robotic arms on the left, and close to center of your screen, that is Dragon. And that robotic arm is attached to the Japan exposed facility, so we are able to put some of our experiments outside in the vacuum of space.
And there you can see on your screen, this is a view from Dragon approaching the International Space Station. You can see how close it is. You can begin to see those details on the station. And looking straight ahead in the center of your screen was the International Docking Adapter.
And this view from inside Dragon Endurance itself. So these are our 4 crew members. You can only see the commander and pilot right now, Jasmin Moghbeli and Andreas Mogensen, just monitoring the approach on those crew display panels. Again, they are not making commands at this point. Additionally, at that 2 meters away from the space station, we hear the chop call, at which point they should not send any commands. Right now, we are at 23 meters from the space station, continuing to close in on that zenith port of Node 2. Down toward the bottom of your screen, you can see the nose cone of Dragon Endeavour, which brought the Crew 6 astronauts to the International Space Station. So we're expecting to hear the call for waypoint 2 shortly, where we will do a brief pause before moving in towards the docking port.
Station, Houston on the Big Loop. Dragon is on final approach and is go for docking. Monitor for steps 5 and 6 in 1.102 Dragon approach and retreat monitoring.
Houston Station copies all.
All right, confirmation from Amy Dill, the Capcom in Mission Control Houston, to the crew that they are moving in for docking. So we are now 16 meters away from the International Space Station. Again, continuing slowly into the Node 2 Zenith port for docking today.
It's such a cool view. It almost feels like we're on Dragon approaching the International Space Station.
Space Station and Dragon now flying over Australia. And Dragon just 13 meters away. Again, a very methodical and careful approach to our docking port. Great views coming from Dragon this morning as we get ready to welcome 4 new crew members to the orbiting laboratory.
Dragon is at 10 meters.
Copy, 10 meters.
And we are just moments away from Dragon docking with the International Space Station. First will be a soft capture, and then there will be 12 hooks deploying 6 at a time to create that hard capture between the vehicle and the station.
Dragon now just 7 meters away, now 6 meters away from the Node 2 port.
5 meters.
Copy 5.
That call coming from Dragon Commander Jasmin Moghbeli, her first spaceflight to the International Space Station. Standing by for the call of crew hands-off point, or CHOP.
Stop.
Copy CHOP.
One meter.
And Dragon, we see soft capture complete, and attenuation will begin shortly.
Dragon copy.
And contact confirmed. 6:16 a.m. Pacific time, 261 statute miles over Australia.
Guys, thank you for the welcome.
And this is a view from outside the International Space Station of Crew Dragon Endurance docked to the orbital outpost. Inside are 4 human beings: NASA astronaut Jasmin Moghbeli, ESA astronaut Andy Mogensen, JAXA astronaut Satoshi Furukawa, and Roscosmos cosmonaut Konstantin Borisov. They docked to space station at 8:16 a.m. Central Time, following their launch from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida yesterday at 2:27 a.m. Central.
Station Houston on Station Ground 2 for Woody.
Amy, with you on 2.
We've had a good vestibule leak check, so you are go for the Part 2 activity in Step 3.1.
I copy. Good news. Copy go in 3.1.
SpaceX Dragon on the big loop, hatches open.
And SpaceX copies, hatches open. And crew, if you could complete section 6 of 4.400, and then just a reminder that this starts the LIO clock.
And we did hear that call out that the hatch was opened at 9:58 a.m. Central. NASA astronaut Woody Hoberg is now going to work to install IMV ducting to help mix the air of the space station environment with the air inside Crew Dragon. And they're also working to seal some of the LiO, or lithium hydroxide cartridges that scrubbed carbon dioxide inside the Dragon capsule on the ride to the International Space Station.
But